Guys, so I got the clean out door all done except for the trim, and this thing is heavy, man. It weighs about 30 pounds. Still got to do the latches on there, but today I'm starting on these two double doors on the back here. I think this is one of the coolest parts about the chicken coop, and it's going to be complicated but should be fun, so let's get started. This is my design for the double doors. And it's kind of complicated and it looks a little screwed up, but let me see if I can explain why. So we have the same construction that I've been doing for everything. I got my framing, plywood layer, and then trim, right? Now, one thing that complicates this is that I want this framing and the plywood to be flush all the way around here, right? So I don't want this plywood overhanging as a doorstop or set back as a doorstop. So that's kind of the problem. Now the trim, sometimes will be flush, sometimes will be set back if a door closes against it, and sometimes will overhang if it's closing up against the structure as the stop. Okay, so with that, the other thing is I want the trim on the outside to all be 3 inches wide. I don't want it to be varying widths. I want it to be uniform. So with all that, I think what I got to do is make the framing part, the 2x4 part, different widths. So 2.5, 3, 3.5, 4. All right. And you notice they're all different in the way that, like for example, this one would have the 3-inch trim, then there'd be the framing underneath it would stick out a 1/2 inch here and a 1/2 inch here. That's so the other door can close here and the second flip-up door can close here. But they're all different. I think it's all going to work out. It looks complicated on the design, but when it's done, it should look great. So let's get started. Alright guys, I'm going to take a minute here to talk about some details, because if you're building this, this is the kind of stuff that you actually really need to know. Alright, so I'm going to put this together with pocket holes, and then I'm going to sheet the whole thing and cut the inside out, which seems like kind of a waste, but that's what we need to do. So you'll end up with pressure treated plywood sheeted all the way around but cut in so it'll be flush on the outside, flush on the inside, all the way around. That's what we wanted. I don't know if you can see over here, but same thing. Flush on the inside, flush on the outside, all the way around. All right, imagine now that I've got it sheeted. Okay, and we're going to come along with our 3-inch trim. It's going to go all the way around to be uniform. I'll show you how this is going to work out. All right, so the first one you can see is going to overhang on this side. That's because this door closes from the right, and this will catch up against the coop. That's like the stop for the big door. On the inside, you have a little space for the door that hinges at the top and comes down and stops up against that. All right. And over here, we're going to hang over, this door hangs over onto this door a little bit, as it kind of stops up against that, and it's got a space here. So this will actually go like that. All right, so you got stop space for the inside door, and this is overhanging onto this door. All right, same thing over here. You can see over here. Now we're flush trim on this edge, and that's because this is the side that it's hinged on. Right, so this has to be flush, but we still have our inside space for the inside door stop. Up at the top, see if you can see that. Let me just move that a little bit. So this is where the inside door is hinged, so we got to be flush on the inside, but we're going to overhang on the outside. And that's how the big door stops on the top. The left door width is 30 1/4, And the right door width is only 29 3/4. So I shifted it a little bit this way. And that's because when the trim overhangs here, that 1/2 inch, basically the trim is shifted that way 1/2 inch. So I shifted the door frames this way 1/2 inch. And that should end up having this right in the center. Up here to see how it's fitting. So that gap will be split between the top and bottom. There'll be a small gap there and a small gap in between. Looks like it's pretty close to center, a little to the right, which is good. All right, let's sheet this out. So I'm getting ready to cut this plywood for the doors here. And what I'm wondering is, will the cutout of the inside here work for the inner door? Right, so when I cut that piece out, can I use it for the inner door? So to answer that question, I had to mock this up a little bit. This is basically what it's going to look like with 3-inch trim around the bigger door, 2-inch trim around the inside door. And the question I got to answer is right here. This 2-inch piece of trim that's coming off of the inner door frame, can I gap this out enough to where when I use this panel bit to cut that piece out, because I'm going to lose that much, right? So I'd have to move this over far enough that that piece will still fit, but still be able to cover that gap with the trim. And it looks like it would probably work, so I'm going to give it a try. Alright guys, I'm ready to start cutting out these windows. Now a minute ago I had myself convinced that I glued this to the wrong side of the frame, and I was this close to taking them apart. And now I've convinced myself that it is actually right. But who knows? I think it's going to be a miracle if I get this right the first time. I'm already planning on rebuilding these once. But right now I think it's right, so I'm driving on. Yep. I think we're right. So, if this is right, then I'm going to say that was a pretty good day. If it's wrong, it's going to be pretty depressing to start over. Anyway, we'll hit it again in the morning. Okay, so I got all my pieces cut to width. Now I'm going to cut them to length. Alright guys, check it out. All the trim is on. Now remember, we started with that messed up design where every single side of these is different width, and this door isn't the same as this door, right? But when you look at it now, It's all completely symmetric. 3-inch trim all the way around the outsides. And the big door has the overhang that's going to close up against the trim on the coupe, except on the side where it's hinged. That goes all the way around both doors. And on the inside, we're hinged at the top and it's flush up here. And we've got this stop uniform all the way around both doors. And the right door overhangs the left door just a little bit and stops up against that piece. So it all worked out on the first try. I'm amazed. All right, so I got them up there, just shimmed into place. Looking pretty good. The center is just about dead on. You can see the gap there. There's the gap on the left and the gap on the right. Now I did joint off 1/8 of an inch off of each side. Probably shouldn't have done that because it would have been a little tighter. I think I would like it to be a little tighter. When I put the hinges on here, I might tighten that up. And then if this gets too wide in the middle, I can add a strip onto here, just glue it on and sand it off. Here's the gap on the bottom and the top. This is ready to hinge up, but I'll probably do the inner doors next. Let's see how that's all set here, ready to go. Look how tight that is. That turned out really good. That router just comes in really nice, a little sanding, and it's pretty perfect. So, alright guys, anyway, that's going to wrap it up for this one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.